Yes, Julian, Cavendish. There's some big names, but I'd want to talk about a name that's not as well known. It's just emerged really, but geez, I'm looking forward to this name hanging out for a long time. We've got the amazing Western Australian Ben O'Connor, who in the matter of 24 hours went from outside the top 10 to second. Where's he pulled this from?
It was a seriously incredible ride. I would
Oh,
go as far as saying in the history of Australians at the tour, it's one of the best rides we've seen. And I say that and keep in mind that it doesn't have that context of going for I guess Port's time trial last year or
mm,
Cadell riding to victory. It doesn't
mm.
have that weight on it. But in terms of just sheer ability and what went into that ride, I would put it right up there. And I mean, Ben's always had this potential. He was a really talented junior, just
Mm.
battled with injuries throughout his junior career,
Yeah.
showed terrific promise on the domestic scene. And I mean, he's rewarding the faith that AG2R put into him in bucket loads. He's been incredible.
So he was an up and coming, promising young rider. He took a bit of time away from the main racing, probably not willingly, did he?
I think from what I understand, and I mean Ben's probably the best person to ask about this, but it gets to a point where those injuries do add up,
Mm.
and as a professional athlete, you really start to consider those things. Where is it worth it? And I mean, cycling's one of those sports where unless you're one of the big names and you're racing on the pro tour, you're racing across Europe, across you're with those Grand Tour teams. There isn't a significant amount of money in it,
Mm.
and that can deter people in Ben's position when those injuries continuously flare up. But to Ben's credit, he's stuck through, and I mean, look at him now, second in the Tour de France. It's incredible, and I think for the sake of all Australians, I'm glad that he kept up the cycling because he's been a joy to watch.
He has been a joy to watch. Well, we weren't really too aware of him on the at least on the cameras of the coverage of the Tour de France. He was still a quote unquote nobody in terms of the French media.
Mm.
But in the last 2 days, he's been active and he's blown the race away, taken out stage 9 in the Alps. Not just any race, but in the Alps. It was a killer of a race, and so now he sits in second as a potential challenger to Tadej Pogacar, who looks like he doesn't have much other challenges at the moment.
And I tell you what the most impressive part about that ride was is he demolished Quintana and Agita. So these two Colombians who are renowned for their climbing, and Ben O'Connor put them to the sword. It was absolutely incredible, and I mean, yeah, currently sitting 2 minutes behind Pogacar. I think it's in his best interest to ride, and I hate saying this, but to ride for second to defend that second position as opposed to attacking Pog because we saw Pogacar destroy that peloton.
Mm,
I mean, Carapaz tried to stick with him
mm,
and lasted maybe 2-3 minutes, and then the way that Pogacar closed in on the breakaway riders, and
yeah.
and you saw him on the left of the road and the breakaway riders on the right, literally just looking across, and they couldn't help but smile because he is making them look second rate. So I don't know whether Ben can challenge Pogacar come to when they hit Paris, but hey, if he's willing to give it a shot, all the credit to him.
Mate, good on him if you want to challenge that freak of nature. So we named Ben O'Connor in the first episode of this, previewing all of the tour. I went out on a limb. I called him the Terminator with the O'Connor link, of course, to the Terminator, and I'm quite happy with how that nickname's turned out. I reckon he showed a good bit of Terminator there.
I tell you what, I was thinking about this today, and the Terminator's a good one. I was actually thinking maybe we go for the Ben O'Connor McGregor because he is throwing left, right, good nights to some of those people in the top 10.
The Fighting Irish Ben O'Connor.
He's got some knockout power, let me tell you that
He
much.
does. So poor old Jack Haig got knocked out, and we labelled him the next great hope of Australian cycling. Contending for the GC. He's got his own team. He's got a strong team around him. Crashes out. So we've all put our chocolates out for Choco. We've all mourned that loss. I hope he's recovering all right. But could Ben O'Connor have inadvertently taken the saddle from Jack Haig and be our new next hope?
Well, I did bring this up in our first episode that I thought he could finish in the top 10. I truly believe that he can be in that top 10, if not top 5, come the finish line. Going into this tour, I probably would have ranked in terms of ability Haig above O'Connor. But who knows? Coming out of this tour, O'Connor is making an absolute name for himself. I mean, we heard some of the Europeans on the side of the road, Ali Ben, up, up, up. They know him on a first name basis now. So, I mean, he's really making a name for himself, and he well and truly could be Australia's next big thing.
Wouldn't that be lovely that in the time we most needed it, in the time when Australian cycling was very, very dark, from losing Haig, losing Ewan, a couple of crashes, to having this new young stud take it back. It's the hero's journey. He's got it laid out for him. This could be a documentary. This could be a big movie we've got on our hands.
It's also, and I think we both spoke about this in episode 1, but it really is a testament to the depth of Australian cycling.
Yeah.
We've got Richie Porte, who came third. He finished on the podium in the Tour de France last year. He's just come off a win at the Criterium de Dauphiné. We've got Jack Haig, who is widely regarded as a promising and real up-and-coming leader of a GT team. We've got young Harry Sweeney back in the peloton. We've got Caleb Ewan, arguably the best sprinter in the world. We've got bloody Ben O'Connor making a name for himself. We've got all of these great stories, and it's just, excuse me, as an Australian cycling fan, it really is a great time to be watching.
It is. It gives you a fair bit of hope, doesn't it?